Allplan provides new tools regarding frame structures. Let's start by looking at the first one, which can be accessed directly through the frame structure beam function and is found right under the object type section. As you can see, I can generate what is called a purlin. The operating procedures remain exactly the same. I select a profile and then, thanks to the new and advanced input system, I can easily place everything directly within my frame structure. This type of system can, in fact, be further sped up if needed. How? Let's start by inserting a three-dimensional surface, which I can easily and freely create using the powerful tools provided by Allplan. So, for example, I will create a three-dimensional surface here in this area, which I will use as a reference for a new feature called the frame structure system. The frame structure system feature simply allows you to easily place multiple different elements. So, for example, more beams, additional purlins, and so on, by just selecting the reference surface and then defining both a first and a second placement point within that particular type of surface. At this point, I could choose to hide the layer where I have directly placed my purlins. In this case, I would select them, and then I can more effectively manage their spacing or adjust other types of parameters or settings. The surface can be inclined in space according to your needs. So let's go back to selecting the surface command directly from the action bar, or more conveniently from the repeat menu, and let's create a polygonal surface, perhaps using the structural columns as reference points. In other words, I am creating a vertical surface. Very well. Let's call up the structural frame system function again. Select the reference surface, and then define the start and end points of my placement. I immediately realize that something is not right. No problem. Let's go back to the layer palette, hide the surface directly, select my structural system, and at this point I tell it that it should have a height, an offset relative to the surface I had previously selected. In precisely the same way as before, I can give it an initial and final overhang by using positive or negative values. So this way I can very quickly and efficiently adjust my system directly. When I talk about a surface, I mean any type of surface of any kind, even a dynamic surface, such as a roof surface or a roof level system. So if I select the frame structure system, I can interact with this type of surface and define the start and end points of my installation. And we can appreciate all of this even better, perhaps within an animated context. At any given time, I have the ability to manage, control, and oversee all of the various parameters and settings associated with my objects. However, at the same time, if we decide to modify or alter the reference surface or even the surface of my roof, for instance, by making a change to its slope or angle, the entire frame structure system that is connected to it will automatically and seamlessly adjust itself in response. So, in essence, what I am doing here is creating a true dynamic and responsive relationship between the surfaces and the frame structure systems that we utilize and work with. This ensures that any changes made to one element are immediately reflected in the other, maintaining consistency and integrity throughout the design process.